The management of one Mart food store is celebrating 30 years of operating in the British Virgin Islands. Though their startup was in a small structure in Roadtown, as business began to boom, the need for a bigger space became pivotal. Today, one Mart, which started as Kmart, absorbs a 60,000 square feet lot in the community of Purcell and provides employment for approximately 150 persons.
Before bellowing out a song of thanks on his saxophone, words uttered by son of Mark and Judith Vanderpool spoke to the core of building the family's business.
And I'll let y'all know that I do understand very well. I can cash, cook, clean, sweep, mop, pack freezers, and everything else in between except cut meat. So the butcher has one on me. But I encourage all the young people that you see out there, when you see folks 30 years down the road with what they have, don't bypass and think that they didn't make certain sacrifices to get what they have now. When I think about the hundreds of thousands of dollars that my parents probably spent on saxophones and education and doing different things, I know it didn't come easy. You know what it feels like to take your toys away and for your parents to say, no, you can't have this, no, you can't have that, because you have to give it to somebody else. You know what it's like to sleep on the floor because a family member or somebody else is coming over. You know what it's like to live in a house that people think is big, but you understand fully well that the only way your parents can afford to pay the mortgage is because somebody else lives downstairs and somebody else has a tenant. You understand business. You grow up counting cash. Not to say that you have a lot of cash, but you understand the time. You see the sweat and tears. You know what somebody's salary is. You know what minimum wage means. You understand the value of working hard for what you want to have.
Kmart Food Limited, rebranded One Mart Food Store, marked its 30th anniversary with a ceremony that reflected their humble beginnings of family, community, and sacrifice. The business, owned and operated by Mark and Judith Vanderpool, with their two sons, Dylan and Dion, integrally involved, came into operation in November 1986 with some 6 staff members. Today, it boasts some 150 employees. Mark Vanderpool, who is also the territory's Minister for Communications and Works, alluded to a number of things to which he credits the business's success.
I look back over the 30 years and recognize that a dream is a dream, but it can come true. And unless you get up out of your bed from dreaming and get up on your feet and start working, no dream can come to reality. And that is what it's about Kmart and One Mart. It was a dream. I dreamt in my dreams. I dreamt when I worked in the bank. Sorry, Barclays Bank. I wasn't always focused on your business those last 2 years. But it was a dream, and the dream came true. We felt that we wanted to go out there in the community and serve in this way and develop a business. And over the years, we have developed it. I remember some years ago when we were a little bit down in the trenches. And decisions sometimes are made that you wish you didn't make. And as a CEO of the company, I take full blame for us going down in the 2009, 10, 11, especially 2010 and 11, when we met some stiff competition. And at the same time, we made some bad investments. But I, as CEO, took the blame because I was to blame. But we got together and we buckled down and brought ourselves out of it. And your customers were there for us.
The Vanderpools were credited for being supportive to other entrepreneurs, in some instances to the level of hand-holding. Minister for Education and Culture, Honorable Walwyn, and Hesketh Vanderpool, owner of Eureka Medical Center, are testimonies of this.
I remember when I started out many years ago, when we took over, my company took over an operation. We had a fire that burned the restaurant to the ground. And it was a very, very difficult time for us. The good lady at the back of me who spoke before me, the country manager, it was Barclays Bank at that time. And they tried their best to work along with my company. And I'm grateful to them. But the greater support that I got was from Honorable Vanterpool's company. And I can say today that if it wasn't for Honorable Vanterpool, that perhaps my business would have collapsed. I'll tell you why. When you're going through those difficult times, you're trying to keep your business going after a fire. It's a devastating thing. You lose all your inventory. You lose your ability to attract new customers into your business, because what you would have put up in place with what we did was a makeshift operation. It wasn't attractive to anybody. So we basically stayed operating so that when a year and a half or 2 years come, when the new structure is built, we will be first in line for consideration. And during that 2 years, you're taking blows. And we took some blows. I ended up owing Vanterpool about $250,000 with no idea how I'm going to pay Vanterpool. Vanterpool called me one day and said, "Walwyn, we have to talk." I was well frightened, because when you owe a man money, you tell you got to talk, it's a serious matter. But what Mark did, Mark said to me, "Where you are now, I was there before. I am going to help you to get out of where you're at." And Honorable Vanterpool said to me, "I'm going to allow you to convert that $250,000 into a loan. You make the terms of the loan. Take however long you want to take, but just make sure that when we make an agreement that you stick to what you say you're going to do." And he allowed me to do that. And then still on top of that, allow me to continue to credit from his operation until I got my business back on its feet. And I can say today that if it was not for the kindness of Honorable Vanterpool during those difficult times, my business would have collapsed.
When I was coming back from England, I had spent 18 years studying, actually 13 years at that time studying. Mark told me that he encouraged me. He was at that time some sort of a VP or vice president or something in Barclays Bank. And he gave me a couple of pointers on how to get a loan and to get back and how to set up my business, Eureka Medical Clinic. So I started out with a loan that Mark helped me to get of $10,000, started Eureka Medical Clinic there in the Palm Grove Shopping Center. So Mark has been very helpful. He has helped a great deal of people along the way.
Also in attendance at the ceremony to mark the 30th anniversary of One Mart were Premier and the Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable D. Orlando Smith, and Junior Minister Marlon Penn. Both made congratulatory remarks.
Businesses like this, and local businesses, and what provides employment to so many people in the territory. I remember that a few months ago, last year, when Little Dix Bay closed down, we were all looking for opportunities for the workers who were at Little Dix Bay. And Mr. Vanterpool put up his hand immediately, and he said he will take some of these employees, former employees from Little Dix Bay, and he did. And that's just an example of how important these small businesses, small, medium, and sort of businesses are to the community. Apart from providing jobs, they're also very important in being good corporate citizens. And I know that Marx has been very much instrumental in that and in helping those who are in need when there's a need to help them. So all in all, I just want to say again, I'm very pleased to be here to join in celebration of 30 years of Marx, and I wish them continued growth and development and continued contribution to the development and the good and the welfare of the people of the British Virgin Islands.
But I just want to say that 30 years of this establishment being in place is not a small feat, nothing to squawk about. I think to be involved in anything for that long, it takes hard work, it takes dedication, it takes commitment, and it also takes compassion. It takes compassion for what you do, it takes compassion for people.
The ceremony was not complete without some remarks from members of staff. One Mart continues the anniversary celebration with a number of promotional sales, which coincides with this festive season, Christmas time. For the JTV News, I'm Kathy Richards.